Hey everybody, it's Donny here at the Mad Evolution Studios at our headquarters in Sandpoint, Idaho. Hope you're all having a fantastic month out there making a difference for the better in your lives and everyone around you. Speaking of making a difference for the better, today we're going to be launching episode 2 of the Mad Spotlight series, where we bring people and organizations in from all over the world that are making a difference for the better in their communities and all over the world. So, today it's my pleasure to introduce the guest here on episode 2 of the Mad Spotlight series, the founder of Coherence Education, an organization that is dedicated to transforming education for young minds all over the world, Mr. Andrew Freeman. So, let's turn on the spotlight. Welcome, Andrew Freeman, to the Mad Spotlight series. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. We know you got a lot going on over at Coherence Education, but we're thrilled that you took some time out to sit down with us and tell us more about it. How are you doing this fine morning?
Oh, I'm good, Donny. I'm doing really well. Life is great. I am really busy. We're launching this incredible school. At the same time, I'm so excited about what you guys are doing with energy, and I just love the synergies between what we're doing, and I'm so excited to talk with you.
Great. Well, as I said, it's great to have you on the program. We have a team member here that was familiar with you and the organization that you're working on over there and the team that you're putting together and what you guys are trying to accomplish. And when she brought it to our attention here for Mad Spotlight, we said, that's someone we've got to try to bring on this program. They're doing some really cool things, some things to really make a difference for the better. So why don't we just jump right into it? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about Coherence Education and what it's all about.
I've led a really weird life. I started off as an athlete, and then I got into the tech industry, and I've had all these weird twists and turns. And what's interesting is, from the very beginning, I always imagined that I would be a teacher. But I kept putting it off, and I kept thinking like, well, I want to learn more life skills. I want to be the best teacher I can be. And I didn't really like the traditional classroom that much, even though I got a ton of education. I just always thought there would be a better and more fun and more effective way to teach kids. I finally just walked across enough of life's stepping stones and sort of gathered enough interesting little trinkets that I was ready to go do this. Most recently, I was head of education for Nassim Haramein's Resident Science Foundation. I had this crazy idea to take his unified science class that was for adults and make a kids version of the class. And a lot of people were like, you're crazy. How young do you think the kids would be that you would teach? I'd be like, I don't know, like 5. Any of the kids I think would really benefit from this type of knowledge about how the universe works and how it's structured. So I put together this class, and Nassim loved the idea, so they made me the director of education, and was wildly successful. We had over 500 students attend the class, and the kids were just like on the edge of their seat the whole time. And the way we presented it was very hands-on. They were making different tetrahedrons with marshmallows and toothpicks, and we brought on, Nassim as well as a bunch of other amazing experts on. And it went so well, and I thought, well, I want to do this for so many areas of education, beyond science, definitely including science. So I started this school, Coherence Education. We just launched our first 3 classes in September. They were also wildly successful. We're launching another 10 in the new year, and we just want to really build this up from here.
Yeah, when we first heard about Coherence Ed and I went over to your website, I was navigated to find out more about you specifically. And when you talk about the journey that you've led throughout life, that biography describes it quite well. You left out the fact that you're a co-writer. You're currently writing something with your daughter, I think it is, and a karaoke contest winner on top of all that. So you've definitely been down a lot of different avenues in your life.
I was a windsurf instructor in Venezuela for a year. I started a kids book company. I've done all these crazy things. I've lived in 4 other countries besides the US, and I've learned some other languages. So definitely, I think what I've really tried to do with myself is become as well-rounded as possible. And it's really serving me well in terms of teaching kids and being able to field all kinds of questions and deal with lots of different types of people.
Yeah, it would make sense that people that have experienced so many different viewpoints and characteristics of everything that planet Earth has to offer would make the best educators in my mind, right? Because you've lived through so many different things yourself personally, which obviously carries so much weight when it comes to teaching that to the next generation. Whether someone that's been through something, I feel, will always have a stronger and a better way of communicating that to someone that might be learning about that subject matter. So that makes you the perfect candidate in my mind to be launching this venture for sure.
The other bit that really led into me starting Coherence Education is I've spent tremendous amount of time educating myself after college and after grad school, really getting deeply into fields of meditation, family constellations, different success classes for business and finance, and just all of this education. Every time I would take one of these classes, I would think, whoa, what if I had learned this when I was a kid? What if I had learned this earlier on? And I think the fact is, I don't know if it was this way with you, Donny, but a lot of times as an adult, when we really decide to learn something, it's when we're in some sort of a crisis. We're having an issue with our relationship or our job or our finances or whatever. And then we're like, okay, I got to do something about that. Well, what if that happened like proactively or preemptively when we're 10 years old or 15 years old? And then, when we encounter issues in life, we're going to be able to so much more easily be able to handle them or avoid them altogether. So that's the idea, is we can take the best of adult education and personal development and start applying it to kids and watch them really blossom early on and have them become the community builders that we really need for our future.
That's so true when you talk about having the younger generation learn these skill sets before they have to encounter the issues that the skill set allows them to solve as adults.
Exactly. If you offer 9 out of 10 people, if you offer them a time machine, they're going to go back in high school and clean up a lot of the things that the mistakes they made, or at least be more successful at a lot of the basic things that we all had struggles with back then.
We might make a lot of different decisions about those questionable ones that we made in our youth, right? If we were given the skills to maybe solve those problems earlier on. What was your biggest inspiration to begin Coherence Education and launch this venture that has turned into what it is now for you and what you hope it can be?
I had a 7th grade math teacher named Ken Carmen. Ken, if you somehow hear this, I'm going to love it. He was a former NFL football player. I don't think he made it very far in his career before he got injured, but he became a math teacher, and he taught math in such a fun way. He just made it come alive, right? And so I got so excited about math. I eventually ended up majoring in math along with computer science and accounting in college. And the thing that I marveled at is I never had a really great math teacher after Ken. I've had lots of great teachers, but they tended not to be the math teachers. The math teachers tended to be really dry and like just out of the textbook and weren't really putting any creativity or imagination or fun into it. And I always just thought, wow, if I could just teach more like Ken and then also enter my own creativity and own thoughts for how to make these classes more fun and interesting, I think there would be a lot fewer kids who hate math or are scared of math or just think they can't do math. And then just across all the subjects. And when I look at kids, I have a kid of my own. Kids learn by playing. They don't learn by sitting and listening to adults, and they definitely don't learn from textbooks. I mean, we can do anything, but our most natural way of learning is through doing and through experience. And we're in that state of fun and play, and we're fully absorbed. We're going to get things a lot more quickly. So that's when I decided I want to start a school that really has that approach. And so now that I've had a chance to try it with Resident Science and now with my own organization, I can see that it really works. And I'm so excited to roll out a lot of different types of classes using that formula.
Well, it seems like you're approaching the method of learning in different ways, which is good since kids do learn in different ways individually, right? Some kids learn better through hearing, some learn better visually, and some learn better kinesthetically, right? Actually, experiencing and working with things with their hands all together. So, and I was looking at the courses that you guys offer, and it's such not a bizarre range, but a very kind of different range of subject matters. Everything from kids working with AI to geometry to ancient civilization to dance and music. All those things. I'm sure there's a synergy to all those things too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I sure can. I sure can. And I can't wait to dive in with you as well in terms of what Mad Energy is doing in terms of empowering communities. But really, at the heart of my intention is to empower kids to become really great community members and community builders. And what are the qualities that it takes to do that? Well, I had a breakthrough in my own thinking when I was researching AI, and I started thinking about, well, what are computers really good at, and what are people really good at? There's so much around AI is going to replace 60 million jobs or 90 million jobs. There are all these statistics. So and not just factory jobs, but jobs in the medical industry, in the legal industry, and these untouchable type careers where like look, if you go through college and you get good grades and you get a job in such and such firm, you're safe. Well, not so much anymore. So then I started thinking, well, what are humans great at that the machines aren't going to really replace? And what it came down to is that innovative creativity, which you guys have in spades, obviously. Love what you're doing, thinking about a lot of the basic things in new ways. And then leadership. I mean, none of us want to be led by a machine. We want to be led by people because people understand people. So it all comes down to communication skills, emotional IQ, the ability to motivate. I just don't see machines being able to do that. And then artistry as well. There's a lot being done with writing and art through AI. But when you look at what people produce in terms of their musical expressions, their visual expressions, their comedic expressions, I just don't think computers are ever going to touch that. And I don't see us really paying $300 concert tickets to go watch a machine sing. So really, I want to connect kids with those things, those true aspects of themselves, and then also just wake them up to who they really are. Because I think a lot of the messages in traditional education are your power lies outside of yourself. Trust this academic board or trust this research, or whatever, rather than people really going inside and realizing look, they have all the wisdom they need inside. They have their own critical thinking mind. They have their own unlimited access to creativity. So I want to really shift people's thinking and just modus operandi to going inside first. So every one of our classes really focuses on that creative connection. There's a project aspect to every one of these courses. I believe, to your point, every kid learns differently. I do think that one thing that's the same about every kid is they want to feel like they have some sort of agency over their learning, that it's self-directed in some way. So in every one of these classes, they pick their own project, and then they let us support them in creating it, whether it's their own songs, whether it's their own entrepreneurial ventures supported by AI tools, whether it's their own choreographed dance routine. They get to do it their own way to their own music. So I think it becomes a lot more interesting and a lot more playful when and relevant when it's really driven by our own passions.
Really well said, Andrew. You're getting me all charged up just talking about all that. It sounds great. When I started researching your company a little bit more, I decided to go to your YouTube channel, and I was able to see some of the testimonials that have been put up by some of the young generation that have taken your courses, and some of the parents that also have been affected by the courses that you've been able to launch and have the young generation experience. So what's the most rewarding part to you about what you're working on and seeing the effect that it has on the young generation? When I was watching those videos, it was so refreshing, and I almost started tearing up because they were so passionate and so grateful to you for the opportunity to learn in the method that you're approaching?
That's a great question. What really touches me about this work, and it is every time, it's when I can help ignite that spark inside of a student. And I've seen that a bunch of times already. A couple of examples are this music class that we taught. It's a different kind of music class. We touched almost none on musical theory. We got the kids set up with music software, digital audio workstation software, and we just got them immediately laying down beats and laying down some chords over the top of the beats and laying down some vocals and, teaching them how to sample and stuff like that. And these guys, even if they didn't think they were musical, all of a sudden they're like, wow, I'm creating music. And it was all great stuff. Two students in particular out of that class, one of them has gone on a songwriting tear and amazing stuff. And she's, that's basically all she's doing right now. And she keeps sending over songs, and each one more brilliant than the last. And I was able to get her on a different program earlier this week where we brought her on live to perform for the audience, and she just shone like you wouldn't believe. So that just touched me to tears. Here's somebody who didn't know that there was this aspect of herself, and now been able to connect that. And now it's like just fueling her life. It's incredible. And another one of our students too, got really inspired to take up guitar, and, his mom wrote me a note saying he may be some kind of a prodigy. It's all he wants to do. And he's like, just over the last several months, he can play these amazing songs. So, and then we saw it with all kinds of other projects too, where the kids got really inspired to just learn on their own between classes because that spark was ignited.
You might be getting thanked in several Grammy awards in the future if there some bands out there might be created as a result of these classes you're putting together, Andrew. So maybe they'll ask you to join in one, since that seems to be the only thing missing from your resume so far, right? Band member. What kind of world do you see in 5, 10, 15 years if things continue to progress with Coherence Education as you foresee them and as you want them to?
I'm so optimistic about the future. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom out there these days, and the way I look at it is there are just a lot of top-heavy systems that are failing. When you look at any of the big systems, if it's big government or big pharma or big energy, big food, they're not doing a service to us, and through force they're trying to keep their power, right? And it's getting kind of ugly. But I do think that, like Buckminster Fuller's famous quote is we're not going to replace those things by creating another big, huge thing. We're going to make them obsolete through our innovations. And just another reason why I'm so excited about what you guys are doing. But on our side, I really see us combining the best of both worlds. Like when I was a kid, there were kids were relatively healthy. I think chronic disease was something like 5% for kids, and now it's like 54%. There's so many issues these days with mental health, and it's hard for kids these days. And the thing that we had going for us back then is I think we did have more of a community basis. We had more of a support structure for kids, and things were a little more solid and grounded. I see us going back to that more that community type of living, and I think we can combine that with a lot of these amazing technology breakthroughs we have, like AI, like different innovations in energy that very well about. Different, we're learning. Not everybody does it, but we're learning more and more about exercise and nutrition that can just keep us healthy for such a long time and live vital lives. So I think if we combine going back to, empowered communities with this type of technology that helps support that, we're really going to have an amazing renaissance. And, I'm so excited for these kids to have a chance to help not only experience that, but really be the ones who are going to build it.
Well said, Andrew. Why don't we transition into the feature question of the segment with what you just said, which is I'd love to hear your perspective on Mad Energy and what we're working to accomplish here. Our mission is clean, abundant, affordable energy for the world. So, what's your perspective on our mission and what we're working on here?
Yeah, well, there are very few topics that excite me more than energy innovations. And actually, the reason I first found out about your organization is I was producer for Foster Gamble's web show, and we had George Wentz on talking about a lot of what you guys are doing and the Tesla Tower and all the amazing things that you're doing around there. And I just look at energy is the basis of everything that we do. And the way it is done right now, there's so many costs involved, not just like the out-of-pocket costs, which is quite high, but all the environmental costs and just this ripple effect of just damage that goes through, and it's really a drag on our lives and our economy. And so I think that the thing that will emancipate us more quickly than anything else will be to come up with a clean, inexpensive new type of energy, and that's what's really going to fuel these new communities that are going to be more self-contained and independent and interdependent as well. But yeah, I'm so excited about what you're doing. Also around your Addison data center technology as well. What little I know about that, it's very exciting because data centers are obviously such a big area for electrical consumption and waste, and a lot of times environmental damage too. So I love what you're doing around that.
Great. Well, thanks so much for saying that, Andrew. And we can't thank you enough for joining us on the program today. It sounds like what you're working on at Coherence Education and what we're working on at Mad Energy have so much in common, in a sense that we're working to revolutionize the spaces in each subject matter, whether it's education, whether it's energy. There's a better way to be doing it than it's currently being done in the world. So it's great to be in contact with someone like you that's working on that. And I'm sure we'll be in touch more and more in the future. Would you say so?
Oh, I would love that. I think there are so many synergies between what we're doing and what we're wanting to create. So yeah, I would love to keep this dialogue going and visit you guys up in Idaho at some point. Sounds like an amazing think tank that you got up there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming on today, and we'll be in touch. And maybe next time we can actually get you in studio in person, and we'll see if we can catch up a little bit more about everything. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Sounds great. Thank you, Donny.
Okay, well, that's it for this episode of Mad Spotlight. Thanks so much to Andrew Freeman from Coherence Education for joining us today. And thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that just as much as we did. And if you'd like to know more information about Andrew and Coherence Education, you can go to their website. It's www.coherenceeducation.org. And don't forget, they have classes and courses launching in January of 2024. So head over there right away if you're interested in taking one of their courses. They're really amazing, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it very much. So from all of us here at Mad Energy, thank you for your continued and constant support. We hope that this 2023 has been treating you as well as it's been treating us. And we're looking forward to the new year beginning and keeping the momentum going to make a difference for the better all over the world. Everyone, have a wonderful November, and we will talk to you very soon. Take care.